Jainandalala Madhyali Charanam. So today's topic is about this great philosopher. I don't know, adjectives are not enough to explain this magnificent soul, avataram, Adi Shankaracharya. I'm sure you all are excited now. Adi Shankaracharya is my favorite Lord Shiva's avataram, beautiful avataram that walked the earth in this Kali Yugam. And there's a lot of debates about when he was born, what time period he was born. But the most common time period that we know of is 788 Common Era. And he was born to a Nambudiri family. And it's very close to my heart, this particular avataram, because he was born in Parur. Parur, Perundra, the Perundra Kovil is in Parur, and he was born actually in this place. Nowhere it would mention that, because he was just born there. Though he was brought up in Kalady, he was actually born in this place. It's very close to Ernakulam. And this is where my dad also, my father's from this place. So we know in and out about this area. And he grew up going to this temple, this family temple of Aryamba. Aryambal, that is Adi Shankaracharya's mother, was from Parur. So now Aryamba was married to Shiva Guru, that is Adi Shankaracharya's father. Aryamba has always prayed to Lord Shiva in this temple, the Parur Perindra Kovil. She always prayed to the Shiva, and she wanted a child just like Lord Shiva. That was her prayers. And Lord Shiva comes in her dream and he says, yes, I will be born to you. I will be born. Look at that. She said, I want a child like you, but he said, I will come. So he was born to her, and they named him Shankara. Now, this temple, I have to tell you a little bit about this temple, how powerful it is. And a beautiful temple. It's like 2 kilometers from Peravam. Peravam is the place where my father is from. And I've heard a lot of stories. And he used to go every day to this temple and eat their food. They had this feast, every day in the temple, where all the villagers would come and eat over there. It's a beautiful, those set of stories I can just keep listening to. It's very, it's very pleasant to hear those beautiful stories. And another thing about this temple is it's built in the 12th century, and it's on the banks of the Muvatupura. Pura means river, and that is what it's called, Muvatupura. And it flows on all the 3 sides of this temple, except on the south side. So this temple is almost on the river, kind of, all the 3 sides there's river. And the lingam is made of sand here, and he faces the east, the lingam. He's beautiful. It's a huge lingam. You get that very peaceful energy when you go and see him. And the temple is so quiet, very calm on top of that. So whenever we go there, it's in a village. So, and the Pura, that is the river next door, like you can just walk down, and it's beautiful river. We always used to take a dip in that river and then go to this temple. I've been there so many times. I can't even count the number of times I've been to this temple. It's very close to my heart. And believe it or not, I didn't know until just about maybe 6 years ago that Aryambal, this temple is Aryambal's family temple, just like how it was for my father's family. It was their family temple too. So that is something. And I didn't know that only, and I got to know that only 6 years ago. Now, now the Dwarapalakas are made of wood in this temple, and there is Lord Ganapati, and he's made of the Panchaloha metal, and the other idols are granite. It's Krishna, there's Nagarajar, Shasta, and then Bhagavati. All of them are present in this temple. And there's beautiful wood carvings are there on the walls of these temples, and various scenes from the Puranas are depicted, like Bhagavatam, Ramayana, and Mahabharata. All of them are painted on the walls and carved on the walls of these temples. The unique feature here of this temple is the Muvatupura, that it flows from east to west. The flows from east to west, but it suddenly changes direction upon reaching the temple. So that is a very unique feature that no scientist could explain. It retraces its path and flows east for a certain distance before diverting again to north and west. So this nobody is able to explain why. And then the scientists say that this is why whenever the floods happen, this temple has not been, gone down the river because of this direction of the river. It seems like the temple is standing because of that. Scientifically, they have explained that. Now, Aryambal's home is very right next to this temple, which I have gone to, because when I visited this temple, I went there also, and it's actually managed by the Chimaya mission right now. They are taking care of that house, and there is this room in which she gave birth to Adi Shankaracharya, and that whole place is managed by the Chimaya mission right now. They've really done a good job of taking care of it. I went there and personally saw the whole house, and the beautiful Nambudiri kind of house, olden kind of house. Now, back to Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara was born after all the prayers of his mother and Lord Shiva, avataram of Lord Shiva. And Shankara mastered all Vedas and scriptures in a Gurukulam as he was growing up. And there are a lot of incidences while he was growing up as a child. There are a lot of incidences of him where he has, it's like a miracle, especially when one day he went for, in a Gurukulam where he was, each day a student has to go and get bhiksha, alms. So they have to get the food, the rice or whatever, food they have to get for the whole, everybody, all the students will share it together. Now, when his turn came, he had to go for bhiksha. He went and he knocked on the door of this old lady, and she was very poor. She didn't have anything. And this is a very famous story. I'm sure you all know. And she came out, and she saw this little boy standing and asking for bhiksha. And of course, anybody asks for alms, the thing is you give whatever you have, correct? You share whatever you have. But this old lady, poor thing, had nothing to give. And she was fasting that day because it was Dwadashi day. She was fasting. She had this small nellikai to break her fast. That is all she had. So she now went and fetched that, and she gave it to him. She said, "This is all I have, my little one. You take this." And that boy couldn't bear it, that this lady gave that little bit that she had, she gave it to him. Now what will she have? And that really broke his little heart. Now what did he do? He knows that Shri Mahalakshmi is the one that is missing in this house. How come a person has only one nellikai to eat? One gooseberry. How come it's like this? So he thought of Mahalakshmi, and he beautifully sang the Kanakadhara stotram. That is in that instant. he just beautifully sang that Kanakadhara stotram to Sri Mahalakshmi. Now, Mahalakshmi is the goddess, Vishnu's other half, right? And she is everything, the wealth, all that, correct? So he sang this Kanakadhara stotram praising her to show mercy on this old lady, because it's the golden heart. That old lady already had a golden heart, correct? Because she's sharing whatever that little bit she had, she gave it. Who gives like that? They keep it for themselves, right? Who does that? So she gave that little bit that she had, she gave it. Now, Kanakadhara Stotra means what? Kanak means gold. Dara means flow, stream. So that's what happened. What happened? Mahalakshmi poured golden gooseberries on the house, over the house. It just started pouring. It rained gooseberries. Now, they say that Kanakadhara Stotram is chanted to get all the wealth and all that gold or whatever. The truth is, Kanakadhara Stotram, yeah, of course, if you chant, it's not going to rain gooseberries. No, definitely not. So this is to gain a golden heart. It's to gain a golden mind. Kanakadhara Stotram is to clean our inside and make it like gold. It is for us to be polished. So how much ever you say Kanakadhara Stotram, it's going to make you a better person. You are going to be the gold. There is no better gold than our soul, you know. That's the biggest gold we have. It's the immortal thing, right? So there's nothing more precious than our soul. So the more and more Kanakadhara Stotram we say, we are going to be shining like gold. And that is the truth. So if anybody who's chanting Kanakadhara Stotram, thinking that it's going to rain golden gooseberries, no, that's not the case. This is, I'm sorry I broke the thing, you know. This is the truth. Now the house where the gooseberry rained, right, is called the Swarnat Mana. It's 20 kilometers from Ernakulam, and this is where it happened, and they still have it. It's in a village, and they're maintaining that house even today. So whoever goes there can visit that place, and they have it all set up beautifully with Shankaracharya's picture, and, you know, a lot of carvings. It's very beautiful, wood carvings and all that. It's been there for a while, and the same family is, you know, taking care of it. So now that is the first incident. The second incident is when Aryamba used to go and take a bath in the river. She had to walk a distance. She had to walk a few kilometers to go to the river. Now, seeing his mother struggling every day to go to the river, he changed and rerouted the river, the Purna river. He rerouted the river for her. Now, that is amazing. He went and he requested the river to follow him, and the river followed him. Now, that is why it's called Kalady. It followed its footsteps, his footsteps, Kalady, and came near his house. Now, the river flows beside the house, so the mother doesn't have to walk much. It's right there. She just has to step out of the house and take a bath there. That is how easy he made it for his mother. This was like when he was very young. Now, his father passed away when he was very young again. He was just 7 years old when his father passed away. So it was all just his mother. And his mother, of course, because his father passed away, got very possessive about her sons. Just one son. There's nobody for her now. It's just him. So very possessive. Now, he wanted to always become a sannyasi because he didn't have any liking or attraction towards anything material. At that age itself, he was like a very, realized soul. So he wanted to become a sannyasi. He told his mother, he hinted her, but she was like, no, that's not happening. You have to get married and all that is there. No, you can't be a sannyasi. She just ruled it out immediately. Now, the thought just kept coming to him that he wants to be a sannyasi. That just didn't go. Now, a person is born, he's born for a reason. Everybody, right? And this is an avatar. How much he's supposed to be doing? He has a lot of list of things to do, and now we know Adi Shankara didn't do one. He did too many. It's like the Adi Shankara session cannot be completed in one session. That's how many things he did. Now think about it. If his mother said no to sannyasam, how can he do this? How can he achieve it? He was born to achieve. He was born to get this mission done. He had a mission. Now, something had to happen to change that, to change his mother's mind. So one day he goes to the river to take a bath, and crocodile from nowhere comes and catches hold of his leg, and he cries for help, screams for help. And then his mother comes and she doesn't know how to help. How can a lady, old lady, fight a crocodile? No, the crocodile is not leaving. And then he says, Amma, just say you're going to let me go to sannyasam. It'll go away. Now look at that. Huh? This is how the Lord plays. To put her in that spot where she chooses between the son's life, right? Now sannyasam is looking better, right? Than giving up on her son, right? So she says, yes, you can live and be a sannyasi. It's fine. So she chooses his life, but she's okay with the sannyasa. So she says, yeah, be a sannyasi. Please leave him. And the crocodile immediately lets go of the leg and goes away. Now he got what he wanted. It's always achieved, right? The leelas of the Lord. Now, she did not want him to go for sannyasam because she was always concerned who's going to do her last rites when she goes away. Because sannyasis can't do last rites. They can't do the rituals, right? So she was worried for that. But Shankara promised her that he will come whenever she calls him. He will be there and he will do her last rites. This was his promise. Though he's a sannyasi, he said he will do her last rites. She happily sent him away. Though she was sad, she said okay and sent him away. Now he proceeded towards north on the banks of the river Narmada. That's where he meets his guru, Govinda Bhagavad Pada. Now that was the turning point for him. Impressed by his knowledge, his guru, he was so good in Vedas. He was very young, but he was so good in Vedas, well-versed in Vedas and the Vedanta. He took him as a shishya immediately. The minute he saw him and spoke with him, he immediately took him as his shishya student. Now, under the guidance of his guru, he used to go, he mastered all the Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. And he was just 12 years old. He mastered all this. And he received initiation in the knowledge of Brahma. Now that was when Adi Shankaracharya was born. Now his aim was to spread all that he learned to the whole world. Now his aim was not to sit in one place and do penance. No, he was wanting to get out of there and go spread whatever he learned. That was his idea. Now he was an ideal sannyasi. When he was given that Adi Shankaracharya, that name, he was the ideal sannyasi. Now, his teachings were based on the Advaita Vedanta. It means what? Each and every person has the Paramatma already here. It's just finding it. And we are all a part of that Paramatma. That is simple. Now, from age 16 to 32, he traveled far and wide. We know that, right? From the tip to Kedarnath. I mean, I don't know how he did it. Now, he wrote analysis of the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the list goes on. Now, he traveled length and breadth of the ancient India. India was bigger then, it stretched bigger. So he's traveled all over the place. Now, he engaged in debates and won all the debates that he engaged in with big, great scholars and philosophers. He was not scared to debate anybody. He debated Buddhist monks and beat them. His debates were very vigorous and he was very fearless. He never had this fear. He was very young. He was like close to 17, 18. He was very young. So they accepted defeat and a lot of them took Shankaracharya as their guru. They became his followers. Now he was younger than them. Whoever he debated, they were all older than him. So during that time, there were a lot of innumerable sects following their narrow philosophies and practices. It's mostly the ritualistic rules and regulations, and the people were blinded by those rules and rituals, So that was one thing that he was against. His philosophy was totally the other side, opposite. Now, though he had a new set of rituals and rules that he gave and, advised a lot of temples, which still follow his ritualistic ways. And that is what he gave to a lot of temples, and mostly Devi temples where he put his, Sri Chakram everywhere he installed, right? So he had many followers and disciples. 4 of them were very significant. Now, the 4 are Mandana Mishra, Hastamalaka, Padmapada, and Totakacharya. These 4 of them were very significant. And we're going to get to know these 4 disciples of Adi Shankara in a more detailed way, one by one. Now, he set up 4 madams in the 4 corners of our country and entrusted these 4 disciples and to spread his message through those institutions. Now, let's understand who Mandana Mishra is. Mandana Mishra is a great philosopher, and he was older than Adi Shankara. Now, at that time, Adi Shankara used to, like I said, go and debate openly with so many people, and he won every single debate. There was no debate that he lost. His guru was very proud of him. Now, his guru, Adi Shankara's guru, told him that he has to go and debate Mandana Mishra. Only then his mission, whatever he wants, will be successful. Now, Adi Shankara has to, that is why he's born, to get his mission done, right? So he says, then I will have to go and debate Mandana Mishra. So Adi Shankara goes and he's right outside Mandana Mishra's house. And he could hear all these rituals and something big is going on inside, but the door is locked from inside, so he can't get in. He knocks, but nobody could hear it and nobody opened. So through his yogic powers, he just enters through the door. Now, Mandana Mishra, on the other hand, he's a person who cannot stand sannyasis. He cannot stand them. According to him, he feels that sannyasis just take it easy, as in because they don't know or they have no patience for rituals. They have no, interest in getting to know and learn the ritualistic practices. They easily say, oh, I'll become a sannyasi, and they become a sannyasi. They just renounce everything and go sit in one corner, is what Mandana Mishra thinks about sannyasis. Whereas Mandana Mishra is all about rituals. He's very knowledgeable. He knows everything. Karachu kurchirka. You say that, right? That is what he is. He's very good. He's a very literate person, and he knows all the scriptures, Upanishads, everything, Vedas, and the rituals also. So he and his wife. So he's married. He's not a sannyasi. He's married. He has a good family. He has a big bungalow. So, and he's very learned. So he cannot stand sannyasis. And here, Adi Shankara has entered his house. Without knocking, with his yogic powers, he entered through the locked door. Mandana Mishra is there with all the Brahmins. He's just finished his he has done a yagnam in his house, and he's just finished the whole ritualistic thing, and we have all sat to have their meal. The meal is going to be served, and Adi Shankara has entered. Now everybody look at him. Nobody's looking anywhere close to Adi Shankara, who has renounced everything. He's just in this orange, simple outfit. Everybody else is entirely on the other side. So they obviously know it's a sannyasi, which is a big no for Mandana Mishra. Immediately Mandana Mishra asks, how did you enter? The door was locked. Adi Shankara smiles and says, I have my means. Mandana Mishra is not very impressed. He says, is there anything I can do for you? Because we are busy here. So Adi Shankara's request, Mandana Mishra, I came here to have a debate with you. So Mandana Mishra says, no, I don't debate. So all the Brahmins say, well, he's come at the meal time, so maybe he's come for bhiksha. Why don't you offer the alms to him and he'll be gone? So Adi Shankara smiles and he says, no, I don't want bhiksha. I don't want that. I am here just to debate. So Mandana Mishra says, no, I don't debate with 20-year-olds. You're too young for me. It's not fair. I have knowledge of so many years, and it's not fair for me to sit and debate with a 20-year-old. Doesn't sit right, he says. And Adi Shankara says, please, it's a small request. I request you to just sit and let's have a debate. So with all the Brahmins as, the witness, they all are there witnessing the scene. They all say, yeah, why not? He's asking so much. Well, when there's a debate, there has to be a judge, right? So Mandana Mishra wants to be fair. So he says, okay, because you're so young, you're a young boy, you're the youngest person I've debated with. I feel terrible. Why don't you pick the judge? Whoever you want. You can pick your judge, he says. Adi Shankara, without even thinking twice, without even looking around, he says, I want your wife to be the judge. He points out to Mandana Mishra's wife, Bharati. He says, I want her to be the judge. I know she'll be very fair. So he says, okay, so be it. And Bharati is also very happy. They all sit and the debate begins. Now, we think it's a debate. It's a debate. Okay, it'll be a few hours. Okay, it'll be an hour, a few hours. No, it was a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then it became a place where everybody came to be a witness of this great debate. There was so much knowledge, so many things were discussed, various topics, so much knowledge. It was like an encyclopedia right there. And whoever wanted to gain their knowledge, they could come and witness this beautiful flow of, it was like exactly an encyclopedia right there, reading out everything from everywhere, these various topics. You could just witness there and gain your knowledge. That is how it became. People from far and wide came and sat there to just hear these two great philosophers debating. It was not a small debate. It started in a small way, but just went on and on and on. Now, Mandana Mishra is very learned. That's why he was able to, pull it on, stretch it this far. He survived it this far. Others didn't, right? Adi Shankara beat everybody so fast, so easily. But Mandana Mishra, it took him a while. And then, yes, slowly that energy, that confidence, everything is falling apart. Mandana Mishra could feel it. He could feel that tension. After a month or so, he could feel it. It was like, okay, I'm losing. I feel this boy knows more than me. And he one day says, you win. You win, my boy. Now, before the debate started, Mandana Mishra tells Adi Shankara in a very mocking way, says, okay, you're very young. If you lose this debate, you will become my disciple and you will get married and you will leave sannyas, is what Mandana Mishra tells Adi Shankara. For which Adi Shankara says, okay. And Adi Shankara says, in case you get defeated, then you become my disciple and you take up sannyasa, is what Adi Shankara tells Mandana Mishra. Mandana Mishra says, so be it. Now we are in this point where Mandana Mishra has taken defeat. He has said, okay, I know I failed. You win. That time, Bharati, the judge, she knows that her husband is going to he has to do what he said, right? He gave a word. He's going to take up sannyasa. So she says, do you know in our scriptures, the husband and wife are one. One half is husband, the other half is wife. Ardangini is what we call the wife. So I am the other half, my husband. So yes, you have defeated my husband, but the other half is me. You have to defeat me also, she says. So Adi Shankara says, okay, fair enough. Let's go. I'm ready to debate. So she says, okay. And she starts topics. She's very, very, very shrewd. She's very smart. She doesn't leave him. So she's fully aware that Shankaracharya is a celibate. He has not had any relationship. He is a sannyasi. He wouldn't know anything about women. So she took that topic. She says, you say you are very knowledgeable. How can you be knowledgeable when you have no experience as a householder, experience with women? You've never had a wife. How can you say you're knowledgeable? She says. And she was discussing relationships and all that husband and wife relationships she was discussing. And he was like, I am so sorry, but I have zero knowledge about this in this area, he says. He openly says it. Now, Bharati said, okay, I'll be fair to you. I'll give you time to go learn this subject. So go and receive all this knowledge, whatever you want, and you come back and we'll debate on this topic, she says. He's very happy. He says, okay, I'm going to go and get my knowledge on this. So he agrees with the offer and he goes. Through his yogic power, he comes to know that a king is dying somewhere. Now, what he does is this king, the scene over there is the palace is all mourning and this king is lying there. Almost his breath is going to go away. You know, they all know the last moments. He's lying with his eyes closed, waiting for that last prana to leave. They're all mourning and the queen is crying. He knows that the king is dying. And what does Shankara do with his yogic powers? After he tells his disciples that he's going to do this, he goes to this kingdom and enters the king's body through his yogic powers. Now, this is the power of Adi Shankara. He enters the king's body and the king comes back to life. Crazy. Think about it. The dying man just suddenly springs back to life and everybody's happy to see the king back. Now, the king was a very rude king. He was not a very nice king. But once Adi Shankara enters his body, the king who wakes up all of a sudden is no more the king they used to know. He's a very sweet, polite, he's very on the other side, the other extreme. So the queen is very glad to have this new king back. She knew something was not okay somewhere. Something is very mysterious, but she was okay with it because this new king was very sweet, very respectful. He used to respect her so much that the other king never did. Her actual king never did. So she found a change in this king and she liked this new king. Now, whatever he wanted to learn, he learned from this queen. All the knowledge he got from her. And then he told the queen his reality, who he was. He revealed himself and the queen was very shocked and she was actually feeling very honored and blessed to have known this soul. And he blessed her because she also was his guru, you know. So he blessed her and he came back. He left the body of the king and he came back to Bharati to continue with that debate. He stopped, right? He had to continue with the debate. To resume the debate. This time, fully learned on that small area which he didn't know. He fully learned that and unbeatable. Unbeatable. Bharati had to let go. She lost. Now, Bharati and Mandana Mishra bowed their heads in respect, in humility, and accepted defeat and became followers of Adi Shankara. Now, Mandana Mishra became Sureshwara. Now he's called this Sri Sureshwara after he became his disciple. And he was the most talented disciple of Acharya. It is said that Bharati is an avataram of Devi Sharada herself. They say that in the scriptures. The goddess of knowledge, Sharada. Now, Sureshwara was placed as the head of the Sringeri Mat, Pitam, which he has established, one of the Pitams in the every corner of the country, I told you, right? So Sureshwara was placed as the head of the Sringeri Mat. So Adi Shankara is like, it's a huge topic, which obviously cannot be taken in one session. Like I said, see, in one session, we covered only one disciple, because this disciple is really something. There is a beautiful story which I had to share, how the whole process went by, right? Now I want to sing this Kanakadhara stotram, which is a beautiful, I'm not going to sing the whole thing, but my favorite line. It's the 12th paragraph. Namostu nalika nibananaye, namostu duttodani janma bhumye, namostu somamrita sodaraye, namostu narayana vallabhaye, namostu hemambujapitikaye, namostu bhumandalanayeकायै, namostu devadidayaparaयै, namostu shandayudavallaभायै, namostu devyai भृगुनन्दनायै, namostu vishnururasistitaयै, namostu lakshmi kamalalayai, namostu damamritavallabhayai, namostu kantyai kamalekshanaयै, namostu buddhi bhuvana prasutte, namostu devadibirarchitaye, namostu nandatmaja vallabhaye. These are my favorite stanzas, and I'll tell you the meaning of them. The first one, it's namostu, 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 is salutations, namaskarams to the Devi. This is the Adi Shankara singing at what? He was less than 10 years old at that time, correct? And he sang this, and that is when the gooseberries, the golden gooseberries, it rained golden gooseberries, right? The Ambal was so happy, pleased with him. She rained golden gooseberries, and this is the 12th stanza and the 15th, until the 15th is what I sang. The 12th one, what does it say? I want to read the meaning to you. Namostu nali kanibananai, that stanza. To Mother, salutations to Mother Lakshmi, and the one who has the face of a lotus in full bloom. Abba, imagine that, beautiful. Salutations to you, because every line has namaste, namostu, namostu, namostu. Salutations to you, the one born from the ocean of milk, right? That is where she came from when they churned the ocean, right? She came from there, right? Mahalakshmi. The one who came from the born out of the ocean, along with the moon and along with the divine nectar. All of them came out of the ocean. So that's what it's saying. Salutations to you, the most beloved of Narayana. Namostu Vallabhaye. Namostu Devadi Daya Paraye. Namostu Narayana Vallabhaye. So Narayana Vallabhaye is what that means, beloved of Narayana. Namostu Hemambuja Pitikaya, that is 13th one. Again, salutations. She who is seated on the golden lotus. Salutations again to the goddess of the earth. Again, salutations, the one who shows mercy and showers of compassion to the devas. I prostrate before you, O dear one of Narayana. So again, every stanza is about how he gives the salutations to the goddess. Salutations again to Mother Lakshmi. My prayers to the one who's the daughter of Brigu, Brigu Nandanai. So I think we did this in the session of Tirupati, right? When I said Brigu is the father of Mahalakshmi. To the one who adorns the broad chest of Mahavishnu. She resides there, right? Of Mahavishnu. Salutations to the one seated on the lotus. Salutations to the one who's the consort of Damodara. That is the meaning of the next, 14th one. The 15th one is salutations again. I prostrate before thee, the light in the lotus flower, the lotus-eyed one. Now he's really praising her, right? Salutations to the one who is the earth and bestows prosperity. Salutations to the one worshipped by the devas. Salutations to the consort of the son of Nanda. Again, Narayana. Beautiful, beautiful. I love this shlokam, and I say it very often. I chant this slokam. It's one of my most favorite. Now, I want to share with you an incident with Amma and me regarding this slokam. This was, I think, in 2014. And Amma was in New Jersey, and we were all sitting in the living room, and we were just talking, and there was Chandi Homam was being planned in Chennai a few months later, and we were all talking about the Chandi Homam. And for some reason, I suddenly wanted to sing this Kanakadhara stotram to Amma. So I asked Amma, Amma, can I sing Kanakadhara stotram for you? See, that I think, now when I think about it, how did I get that thought of asking her that question when so many people were there? Randomly, I just asked her that question. She's made me ask it, right? So again, I won't give myself credit. I give her, she wanted to listen to the Kanakadhara. So she made me ask her. And I did, and she immediately said, Pade, sing. So I brought this book and I sat there and I sang. I sang, and I remember at the stanza, I don't remember which one it is, but it goes, Kamale Kamalaksha Vallabe Tvam Karuna Puratarangi Tairapangai Avalokayamam Atinchananam Pratamam Praptam Pratishtayayam. That stanza. I couldn't sing. I came all the way. This is the last last four something stanza. And this stanza, had tears in my eyes. My voice cracked up and I couldn't sing, because that's when it dawned on me that I am singing this song in front of the Devi herself. It just dawned on me. And I looked at her and my voice cracked up and I had tears, and I stopped singing and I was looking down. I was trying to get myself composed when everybody were watching. I was just quietly sitting there because I couldn't sing anymore. It was like a big lump in my throat now. And Ambal was just sitting and looking at me. And I looked at her helplessly, and she had this very proud smile on her face. And she said, "Romba nanna paadine. You sang so well." And that was it. I didn't even finish the whole song. Of course, it was 80% done. It was just the last bit was remaining. But "Yaar gattu kudta?" she said. "Who taught you this song?" I said, "I learned it myself because my mom played it every morning. When I was growing up, my mom used to play it and my party used to sing it. So I learned it that way," I said. So she said, "உன் அம்மாவுக்கு உன் பாட்டிக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் என் ஆசீர்வாதம்." She said, she had her hand like this. எல்லாருக்கும் என் ஆசீர்வாதம். I was like, okay. My throat was gone. It was choking. I couldn't speak because it just dawned on me that I'm actually singing this song which Adi Shankara had sung for the Devi. And I have this opportunity to sing it for the Devi who's sitting and listening to me. How fortunate, how humbled. I don't have words. She gave me that opportunity. That was the first time. Though I felt a little foolish that I teared up in the middle and couldn't finish the song. I felt a little foolish, but I was so happy I sang it in front of her. Again, she gave me the opportunity again to sing for her in 2016 when she came to New Jersey. We went to the Sharada Ambal temple together. It's in Stroudsburg here. We all went to this temple with Amma, and she was sitting there in the chair and I was sitting on the floor. And I looked at her and I said, "Kanakadhara stotram padatuma?" And she said, just like, with the head action, she said, "Go ahead." And I sang the whole song without any, interruptions. No, I didn't tear up at that time. Yes, I know she's the Ambal. I knew everything, but I did not want to lose that opportunity of finishing the song this time. I sang the whole song. And she was so proud again. And she kept telling the other person who came with her, "Evlo nalla padina, patiya?" See how beautifully she sang? She was saying that to everybody over there. I felt like the child who won her favorite toy. I was so happy. These small things with Ambal were more than any material thing that I have gained, I have had, or I possess, anything, whatever. It is priceless. It's like these certificates are more valuable those encouraging words, those Ambal's praises or whatever. It's like she's praising her child, you know. We're all her children. So when she praises us, we are so happy. This is not a praise from an ordinary person. This is from the Devi herself. And yeah, so I wanted to share this incident because it had the Kanakadhara stotram in it, where I got to sing in front of the Devi herself, and priceless. Madhyoli Charanam Jayanandalala.